brought us, I think, a rich opportunity to do that. I'm not done with that because Mr. Phillip Scott is here from the African Diaspora News Channel. Mr. Scott, thank you for coming on tonight, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sean, for inviting me. I greatly appreciate it. It
is my pleasure. Now, before I let you be the stately, dignified news media man that you are, I want to know Phillip a little bit. Permit me to do that, sir. So describe for me the things that make up the core of who you are. Not professionally, right? Just Phillip as a man, as a human being. What are some of the things that make up your core?
Well, my core is definitely family. Family is very important. My wife, my children. That's definitely what drives me more than anything. Making sure my children have a better life than what I had growing up. I grew up in it was kind of rough at times, and I always said that I never wanted my children to experience that. So that's part of who I am is just my family. I firmly believe in helping build others up. That's the one thing I love to do. I'm a firm believer of loyalty. Loyalty is a big thing to me. If you're not loyal, I just don't really have much time. We don't have that too much anymore in society where people just be loyal. Also, for me, just drive and dedication on what I'm doing. That's also just one of my core, values as well. I believe in humility. Humility is a big thing for me as well, because I cannot stand arrogant people. I don't like people that try to show out and all of that. I just think that I'd rather be your brother. I don't want to be a title.
Yes, I love that. I love that, Phillip. I love that. I'm a firm believer that people try to do with their title what they can't do with their name. And the scriptures say, "I will make your name great, not your title." I love that. You remind me of a man that I absolutely admire, named K.W. Toulis. You have the same sort of carriage about. Two of you could be brothers, and you remind me of him. He's one of the best human beings that I know. I got to take a quick break, but I'm gonna ask you one more question. All right. What has this year taught you already? 2021 came in, and it's only a couple of weeks old. But what has 2021 taught you already?
It's still a continuation of 2020. It's not over with.
The mendacity continues.
It continues.
Listen, let's take a break on that. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to Phillip Scott. And so let's get to it, man. I want to know about this. What is the African Diaspora News Channel?
Well, the African Diaspora News Channel is a, Black media platform that's not only connecting people here in America, but throughout the world. And, we have brought people in, from the continent of Africa to here in America to deliver the news, information, social issues. We do travel, but we're trying to connect the diaspora one story at a time.
And so, what's interesting about it, when I first the producers told me you were coming on, and I started thinking about this work. It reminded me, and again, I'm making a crude analogy, but I just want to give the audience a sense of it. CNN has an international channel, right? That's
Correct.
All over the world. Is it similar in that sense that it seeks to unite African peoples, no matter where we are in the world? There's a common source of news that relates to us in that way.
Yes, that is, what I try to, because see, when you look at Black media, we've seen over the years, we've never had a push to try to connect, the rest of the, Black world, those who are in the continent of Africa, the Caribbean, or wherever we are located. And, the first time that I really paid attention to CNN International, I was in Ethiopia in 2018, and I'm looking at CNN International, and I say, you disseminating this American propaganda by Black folks in Ethiopia? And I say, where's the Black media at? And so when I got back from Ethiopia and having a conversation with a sister of the African Union, I said, I got to make a change in my platform of what I'm doing, because I wasn't doing anything internationally. I didn't have multiple contributors, from different, countries in Africa and here in the U.S. So I just made a change, and, it was definitely different to do that. But now I just feel like I'm doing my purpose.
Listen, and Phillip, I can bear witness to what you're saying. Because as I was in Accra and Lagos and Abuja, in South Africa, Kenya, all you have is CNN International, at least English speaking, right? CNN
Correct.
International. And then, of course, you have the local news in those areas. But you don't have you don't even have, and respond to this, you don't even have a continental African news channel. Did I get that right?
Well, you have a lot of local media houses that's there in the different countries. For instance, in Kenya, you have a studio like K24, which I actually went on K24 last time I was in Nairobi. They have the local channels in those countries, but they more so focusing on the local. They're not focusing on what's happening in the rest of the world. Unless it's something just blatant like the Trump terrorist attack that happened at the Capitol. Now, they'll talk about something like that. I mean, who's not going to talk about it? But, so for me, I said we need to create something so we can connect to the continent, and then we can, get to the point where we're on those channels. So you see us, and also we're seeing it international as well. So that's really the end goal.
So how did you do this? Because I love the story of you in Ethiopia, seeing the sort of Americanized news being broadcast to Africans in that country, and thinking to yourself, there's something wrong with this. You come back to the States, I assume, and tell me what you do to begin to put this vision into manifestation.
Well, I changed my platform up because, like I said, originally everything was just mostly US based. And when I changed the name to what we have today, it was another name prior to this. And, it shocked a lot of people. And it was like, what is he doing? Some people didn't like the change, but I felt that this is the right thing to do. This is direction. This is the future. We have over 1 billion people on the continent of Africa. We have millions of people in the Caribbean. We have our brothers and sisters that's in Latin America. We all have brothers and sisters that's in Europe. And the thing is, when I made the change, that's when I started getting everyone from all these different countries speaking to me, showing me different things so I could advocate. Sometimes in some countries, unfortunately, they can't speak up about certain things their leaders are doing. So they will send it to me and say, brother, can you do this story? Because we do it, we'll, go to jail. We'll have problems with the police. Unfortunately, you have some authoritarian governments still in the continent where you can't, have the freedom of speech to talk. So our platform has been used for that, to fight against, the Chinese Communist Party when they was throwing Africans out on the streets and saying they had COVID and blaming them for COVID. Platforms like us have fight for that, which they didn't have people from America fighting like they do now. So, I mean, it's definitely has made a change, in a good way.
Well, listen, it sounds like this work is not only necessary, but it is groundbreaking in the sense that, because you said something that really sparked my interest, that people send you stories that they cannot broadcast where they are because of what they're going through. I immediately thought, and I don't know if you cover this or if you even would cover this, which might be a question. I know that there are a lot of LGBTQ plus advocates in African countries that cannot get their stories out, that cannot get what's happening to them out. And because of the news situations in those countries. So my mind went there. But anyway, let me ask you this. How is mainstream media failing Black people?
Oh, mainstream media has been the propaganda wing of white supremacy the whole time we've been here. They are the ones that disseminate the stereotypes. If you do the research, you look at Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was that newspaper that posted that lie about the brother with the, young white girl in the elevator that started all of that. You look at even today, when you go to the continent of Africa and people assume things about Black Americans, where does it come from? It comes from your CNN internationals. It comes from your MTVs. It comes from all these different things. They show the worst of the worst about Black America. And then some people in different countries all over the world never meet us. They think that we all rap or that we all sing or we sagging our pants or we wearing gold chains or anything crazy. And then unfortunately, due to some of that propaganda, people have assumptions about Black Americans. And some people at times think that, well, we need to kind of stay away from those Black Americans because some of them commit crimes. Some of them. Now, unfortunately, that's all propaganda. So this is dangerous. And one thing white supremacy has done is made sure to demonize the Black man and Black woman of America throughout the world for no reason. So this is why Black media is important, and Black media has risen more now than ever, and it's beautiful. Matter of fact, Black media is actually controlling more the narrative now than what they ever have in the mainstream platforms do not like that.
Yes. I think that one of the challenges for a news media company such as yours, I'm sure has to be trying to figure out how do you tell the full diversity of Black life and Black news. Like, for instance, I mentioned LGBTQ plus oppression, right? Women's issues, workers' issues, and there may be others. How do you decide what stories you're going to tell?
I made the decision based off of what we're strong suited to do. We're not a person that disseminates everything. If it's something that's racism against anybody that's Black or something related to what we talk about it. We don't really care what Black people do. They Black like us. It's Black media. That's what we do, right? I don't get into other aspects of maybe what people do, whether I don't care how you straight, gay. I don't know. I don't get involved with that. That's not my place, and that's not really what we do. We're here to bring news and information for Black people. So we disseminate that. But we make that decision just based off of what's really going on and what we feel is important that we need to disseminate that particular day, and that could change at any moment.
Yeah, but again, you have to make journalistic decisions, and I think what my only point is with the full diversity of Black life and Black content, it has to be a juggle and a negotiation to decide, what are we going to focus on, how to do it. But that's a part of every news, media company has to sort of figure that out. Let me change gears and ask you this. Know what? Let me take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to ask you this question. You can marinate on it. Why should white people watch Black news? Why should white people watch Black news? Let's take a break, and when we come back, I'm going to turn Mr. Phillip Scott loose and let him tackle that. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm talking to Mr. Phillip Scott of the African Diaspora News Channel. And before we left, Phillip, I was asking you, I put it out there to sort of give us some remark and commentary on why it might be important for white people to be concerned and interested in Black news.
Well, my response, definitely would be, I don't feel that it should be their concern unless they want to learn, unless they want to hear from a Black perspective. If they feel that we're, teaching and reporting on the truth, and truth has no bearing on color. But our focus is, the global Black community. But I've had people from all, people groups that message me that follow and like what we do. And they say, we come, listen to what you say because, you telling the truth, not being like CNN and MSNBC and all these different ones that's, pushing an agenda. So people, will go with the truth no matter what color it is. But our focus has to be, Black people, because we don't really have platforms focused on us. I mean, all these other companies we're mentioning are white-owned companies. They can disseminate, how white people feel on every level, globally. But what about, Black people? What do we have? So that is most of my focus and what we're trying to do.
No, I agree with that focus. My pushback to that would be this, that I think that if we're broadcasting the truth and if we're putting on display the full range of Black life and Black humanity, it should be focused on Black people, but white people should really watch it because, white folks really need to get a different sense of who and what we are. It goes back to my first guess, right? It's that dichotomy of how it is you focus on educating and empowering your people, right? But also allowing other folks who are not part of the tribe to have access to the work so that their sense of us and their sense of what their relationship with us should be is affected by that. Because if we don't give them that, then they only get it from the places that are lying and have agendas, as you said earlier. What would you say to that?
Well, what I would say is that any person that wants to learn and listen to what we do is open for anyone. It's more than just quote unquote white people in the world anyway. They're the global minority. There's, Asian people in the world. There's Arab people in the world. There's Native American. We can't just say focus on one people group, right? I want all people to come listen if they can listen to it and get the truth from that. We don't block anybody from doing that. But our focus here has to be the global Black community. Now, what Black people deal with, other communities may deal with as well. People have told me I deal with the same things, just maybe not on that level. Some have told me, man, you taught me a lot about white supremacy that I didn't even realize. So watching, they have learned, but we got to focus on what's going on in the Black community globally. That's just our focus. It's just like if someone has a right wing platform, then that's what they do. They're not going to focus on anything else but that. So you got to do what your message is. And I believe we are doing that. We're reaching people all over the globe. And, we are working daily to continue to make sure to make that happen.
I heard somewhere that you have, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you have one of the most or the most subscribed YouTube channel. Did I get that right?
No, that I know not on YouTube. No, but I mean, I have a good, a different good sized platform for a Black media outlet. I mean, I've been told I have some of the, I think one of the most subscribed in Black media, but that's not really the focus for us. The focus, for us is daily bringing, the news and social, commentary to the people. The people don't care about no subscribers. The people don't care about no likes, none of that. The people care about the news and information. That's the focus.
Well, I think the people actually do care about subscribers and likes because
some people do. Some people do, but that's not
very
our
integrated
focus.
in social media. But let me ask you this, and in a different direction, because I sense your passion and your commitment to this work, and I'm wondering, beyond the experience that you had in Ethiopia, where you realized that you needed to take this news in a different direction, your platform different direction. Was there another sort of defining moment for you that sort of helped to form and make you the man that you've become?
Ooh, that's a big question. But I would say, if you most of folks in on media, when I had one particular conversation with a, young sister at the African Union, and, the sister, her name's Malukin actually. And, she said something to me that stuck with me, when she said, you don't belong in America, right? So, that place is not for you. This is where you belong. And when she said that, because it was just an experience for me when I went to Ethiopia. Then the following year I went to Kenya. And it's like every time I'm there, I feel the most happy, more so than when I'm here in America. In America, I feel like I'm in a battlefield constantly, fighting white supremacy and trying to help free, our people best way we can. That was a defining moment, for me. Of course, like I said, my family and my children and being married, that's always defining moments for sure. But, every day, for me is a defining moment actually, because life is very interesting. If you got up out your bed in the morning and you was walking and in your right mind and feeling good, that's always a defining moment.
Yeah, no, you and I wholeheartedly agree with that. That's the truth. Every day is a defining moment. And I'm wondering, I'm out of time. I got about 2 minutes left. You have a commitment to Black people telling our own stories.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the power and the value of Black folks telling our own stories.
Well, we have to be in control of our own narrative, whether it's, how we feel about, with politics, whether it may be just any type of stories about what we see in the world, just even dispelling propaganda or stereotypes. We have to be the ones and be the leaders to do that. If we do not do that, then you leave it to other people. That's why I firmly believe is that we can't get mad at other people when they do things like tapping into our culture. If we do not create the platforms, we can't say, oh, they are, stealing from us, they're culture vulture, whatever. We must create, the mechanisms to make sure to make that happen. We're supposed to be in control of our narratives. We're supposed to be in control of our culture, complete control of our culture. We are the only group of people that allow people come from other cultures, make billions of dollars off our culture, and then we don't make the same amount of money. Look at the hair care industry. We don't control the hair care industry. It's mostly ran by Korean people and maybe some people in China. But we supposed to control those billions and billions of dollars. You look at the music industry. It's a lot of people in it, but they don't own and fully control it. That's a problem for me. So for me, I look at if we can control and own everything about us, our culture, our narrative, disseminate about our families, dispel the lies they put in statistics, et cetera, about Black Americans or even Africans, Caribbeans, wherever we're from. That's the job of Black media. We got to make sure that we're represented the correct way throughout the world, because if we don't represent ourselves, we have people that are always trying to throw dirt on, our culture, our name, et cetera.
Yeah, Mr. Phillip, I got to go. We're going to have to leave it there, but thank you for coming on tonight. Everybody check out the African Diaspora News Channel. Support this great work. Support what's going on. The telling of stories is important, and I think we told you 2 great stories tonight. Thank you, Mr. Darrell Davis, for coming on. I'll see you soon, people. Be good to each other. I love you.